to a very beautiful woman with a very cold heart.
Excuse me?
Well, you just tossed a wheelchair-bound cripple out of a house she's lived in for over 20 years without batting even one of those amazingly long eyelashes of yours.
So what if I did? Your mother has had more than her share of time being mistress of the Crane Empire, and now it's my turn.
I gotta tell you, Teresa, until tonight, I never met anyone quite as ruthless as my mother. Well, you win that contest hands down.
How dare you judge me? And if anyone understands how much your mother deserves her comeuppance, it's you.
It's true. I mean, she never really was very maternal towards me. I was always an afterthought, an irritating but necessary second son. In fact, I bet if it were up to her, she probably never would have even had me. But Julian must have prevailed. You know, the whole safety net of the heir and the spare.
Yeah, but it turns out that Ethan wasn't a real Crane. And since he's not Julian's son, you're really the firstborn male heir after all.
Tell that to Mumsy, okay? For reasons we don't need to get into right now, she still loves her number one much more than me. Still, the Barracuda is in a wheelchair, and there is a bloody nasty storm raging outside. I mean, even my amoral father and his tardy little mistress were shocked when you showed her the door tonight.
Well, I don't give a damn what Julian and Rebecca think of me.
Perhaps. But I was under the impression that you did give a damn what Ethan thought of you. And if Julian and Rebecca think you went too far tonight, how do you think Ethan feels about you at the present moment?
I cannot get over what Teresa did to my mother tonight. I mean, it was so unlike her.
Ethan, it was exactly like her. And I can't believe you are trying to justify her behavior after seeing her in action with your own two eyes.
Gwen, I'm not defending her. I just didn't realize how far that my mother must have pushed her to...
No, Ethan. It does not matter what Ivy said about Teresa or her baby or her family. That is no excuse for throwing her out into a blizzard in a wheelchair with no place to go. Fine. Okay, fine. Legally, the house is Teresa's, not Ivy's. But morally? Look, I know that you never want to admit this to yourself, but Teresa is a holy terror, okay? Not only did she cause you and your mother deep pain by forcing Ivy to leave the house tonight, but just think what she's doing to Grace Bennett. Grace despises your mother. She has always thought that Ivy's after her husband. So just think how she's going to react when Sam walks into their house with Ivy and announces that she's going to spend the night.
So answer me, Sam. Where do you think Ivy's going to spend the night tonight, huh? Maybe on the couch with you?
Marvelous. Sam and Grace could break up tonight. By morning, all of our dreams could come true.
Do you never think of anyone but yourself, Ivy? There is a pregnant teenage girl out alone in the storm.
You mean Kay? Please, that little bit of baggage can more than take care of herself.
And to answer your question, no. There is nothing more important to me in this world than being with the man I love.
Grace, we can argue about Ivy later. Now, what did you say about Kay? She ran out of the house?
Yes, I tried to stop her, but she wouldn't listen to me. I mean, while you were out rescuing your old girlfriend, our daughter, our pregnant daughter, ran out into this raging storm with no money and no place to go. I mean, anything could have happened to her by now.
Stop it.
Stop what? Huh? Trying to save my son's life? I will not stop. I can't.
Of course you can't.
How can you condemn Sheridan to a life of servitude?
Lois, please.
No, I want her to understand what she's doing. Do you really want Sheridan to spend the rest of her life taking care of a man who can't love her? Or bring her happiness or even children?
No. Of course that's not what I want. Sheridan, I promise you right now that if Antonio takes this drug, and it doesn't cure him, I will relieve you of the burden. Okay, I will gladly spend the rest of my life taking care of my son.
I could never have you do that.
Don't you understand? My life is falling apart. My family is disintegrating. I want you and Luis to be happy. I do, but not at the expense of losing my Antonio. So I pray that you decide to give Antonio this drug.
Don't let her pressure you into a bad decision, Sheridan.
Wow, you really are prepared to withhold the drug from your brother that could save his life, possibly even cure him. Would you really be able to just let your brother die?
Yeah. I would.
You're telling me that you would let your brother die. May God have mercy on you.
Mama, I'll handle this,
okay?
Miguel. Guys.
I have never been more disappointed in you in my entire life. You, of all people. A person who has risked his life many times over of a stranger would not lift a finger to save his own brother. He's lying in there, unconscious, hovering someplace between life and death, with only his family to count on. And here you are, his trusted brother, literally sending him to his grave.
You don't understand.
Yes, I do. I understand all too well. You want him dead, and we all know why.
Do you see what you're doing to the family you claim to love, Sheridan? You're tearing them to shreds, just like I said you would. This is all your fault.
How could you let her leave this house in this weather? I mean, she could freeze to death out there.
I tried to stop her, Sam. I did everything I could think of.
It's true, Dad. She did everything she could trying to convince her.
She wouldn't listen. There was just no turning her around. I mean, I even did what you asked me to do. I stopped the whole tough love thing, and I told her that I didn't blame her for everything that had happened.
Look, I just don't understand how you could let her walk out of this house.
You know what? I do understand, Sam. Because I told you that you were the only person that she would listen to. But you weren't here. Now, you had to run off on some urgent police matter, which turned out to be a rescue mission for Ivy. Damn it, Sam, I needed you, and your daughter needed you, and you weren't here. And to make things worse, you lied about where you were
No,
going.
I didn't. I told you I had to respond to a domestic dispute, which is what I did.
Which you had to know was at the Crane Mansion.
I did. I knew it involved Mrs. Julian Crane, which could easily admit Teresa or even Rebecca. I had no idea it was about Ivy.
Oh, come on, Sam, that just doesn't even fly.
We don't have time to fight about this. Not with Kay out there wandering around in this storm.
Look, don't you dare try to blame me for this. Because this wouldn't have happened if you were at home. In fact, if anything happens to Kay, I'm holding you responsible.
We just gotta find her, okay? I'm gonna call the station, put out an APB.
You see what you've done? You were so busy making googly eyes at Luis. You botched Antonio's medication schedule, and now he might die because of it. How does it feel to be exposed as a selfish witch that you really are?
Your whole life, you have told me that nothing is more important to you than your family. Me, your brothers, your sisters. Was that a lie?
No.
Then how can you stand there and tell me that you will let your brother die? I'm ashamed to call you my son.
Mama.
Don't tell me you haven't noticed. No matter what we do or say, Teresa is always trying to stir up trouble for us.
Tonight was not about us, Gwen. It was between Teresa and my mother.
You're doing it again. Ethan, You are making excuses for her after she cold-bloodedly threw your mother out of the house she's lived in half of her life, into a snowstorm in a wheelchair. I don't care how Ivy mocked Teresa's ethnic background. What Teresa did is unconscionable behavior in my book.
You're right. I guess you've been right all along. Teresa is not the person I always thought she was.
I don't know how Ethan feels about me at the moment. But even if I shocked him a little bit, he will get over it.
Think so, do you?
Of course he will. Because Ethan is the first person to stand up for his convictions. And that's all I was doing tonight with Ivy, was defending my honor. And the honor of my family. I mean, you heard the nasty things your mother was slinging around about me and my child.
Oh, and to think that Pilar and her people prefer sangria over champagne.
It's no surprise to me. I'm sure it's just too much work for them to unpop the cork. You know, they probably just like to screw off the cap and guzzle it straight from the bottle.
Oh, and then there's Teresa, the Taco Bella of Harmony, pretending to be some grand lady. What a joke!
Damn that Teresa. She does not belong in a fine house like this.
You know, I agree. I think Teresa and her little mongrel spawn should go back to the barrio where their kind live.
How dare Ivy disparage little Ethan like that? But you know, there are so many of them here. You know, it really makes you wonder what the Border Patrol does all day. Still, Pilar and I used to be really, really close.
Well, that was until her children all started moving on up. I mean, first there was Teresa and then Antonia. What's next? I mean, is her sister Maria gonna start getting it on with Alistair?
There's no way I went too far tonight.
My mother's disabled, Teresa.
Disabled my foot? I mean, a snake isn't handicapped if it still has its fangs. No, your mother is just as poisonous now as she's ever been. And what happened to her tonight was well deserved.
She's 5 feet, 10 inches tall, medium length brown hair. I'll just fax you over a recent photo of her.
I'll get one, Dad. I know where a good one is.
Thanks.
She had on a gray wool jacket and a striped scarf.
She had on a gray wool jacket and a striped scarf. Right. Yeah, okay, thank you.
I swear to God, Ivy, if anything happens to my daughter because Sam was out rescuing you, you will regret it for the rest of your life. You might be able to fool Sam, but you can't fool me for a minute.
How does it feel knowing that your selfish behavior could cost one of the men who loves you his very life? No need to answer. I can only imagine. Well done, if I do say so myself. Even if Antonio pulls through, Sheridan will never be rid of the guilt. She won't be able to marry Luis, which will leave him all for me.
Mama,
Gosh,
please.
Luis, I'm sorry. God. No matter what I'm feeling, I should have never raised my hand. There's no excuse.
It's okay.
It's not Mijo.
Look, I just need you to understand what I meant before. Look, when I said that I didn't want Antonio to take that experimental drug, it's just out of respect for his own wishes.
I know what your brother said on that
Mama.
video.
That's what he asked for. Come on. You know Antonio as well as I do. He wouldn't want to be a burden on the people that he loves or the people that loved him. And he certainly wouldn't want Sheridan to sacrifice her life to be a nursemaid.
Yo sé, Luis, pero...
Look, I would give my own life to save Antonio's. I don't want him to die.
And I'm sorry. I'm sorry I said that you wanted him dead.
It's not anyone's fault, Pilar. It's just a terrible situation, and there's no clear or easy answers. I'm sorry that any of you have to go through this.
How much time do we have before we decide about the drug, Eve?
I think we could decide immediately. I'm afraid the drug has to be administered right away if it's going to work at all. As his wife, Sheridan, it's all up to you.
I know what my son said to you on that video, to all of us. But I implore you, Sheridan, please say yes to this experimental drug. It's the only hope we have to save my son.
What was Grace saying to you a minute ago?
No, you saw that, did you? She was just warning me that she's going to be keeping an eye on me. As if that would scare me away from Sam. Look at me. I've already figured out a way to spend the night in their house. Before you know it, I'm going to be in Sam's bed.
Ivy.
Oh, don't be a sourpuss. Smile. Because when I'm in Sam's bed, Grace will be in yours.
Look, I don't give a damn about procedure, okay? I want my daughter found. Now, you call the entire force and you have them search every square inch of this town. Do you hear me? Now, you call me on my cell when you got something. Now, what area did you already look so I don't search there?
Look, why don't John and I show you, and then we can split up our own...
Thank you,
search
but
from
no
there.
thanks, okay? Right? This is a family matter. I can find my daughter on my own.
What? You gotta be kidding, right?
You were such a hypocrite. I mean, you were turning down David's kind offer to help when you just waltzed in here with your girlfriend?
For God's sake, Ivy is not my girlfriend, and this is not the time for petty jealousy. The only reason Ivy is here because she had nowhere else to go. And I wasn't about to let her spend the night in a raging snowstorm.
Which is exactly where your daughter is. If you hadn't been out playing knight in shining armor with Ivy, your daughter would be safe and sound up in her bed. But now that you are home, you're going to turn down David's offer to help because he committed the unforgivable sin of marrying me long before I ever met you. Now, that is what I call petty jealousy. Look, tell me something, Sam. If you had to make a choice of who was going to spend tonight out in the snowstorm, who would it be, Ivy or Kay? You see, that's what I thought. You'd rather your girlfriend be safe, and to hell with your daughter.
It's not your fault, Charity. Kay's a big girl.
Yeah, not to mention a major drama queen. I mean, the only reason she went out tonight was because she knew it would buy her tons of attention.
Even if you're right, I wouldn't forgive myself if something happened to Kay or the baby.
What's wrong? Get back.
What is it, Charity? Is it one of your premonitions?
I just saw Kay in the street, and there was blood in the snow.
I can't move. Help!
is not fair. Come on, this is hard enough on Sheridan without trying to make her feel guilty on top of everything else.
I've wanted to. What's best for Antonio. And do it. Tell Eve to administer the experimental drug.
It's not that simple. Even Antonio saw that. That's why he made the videotape. Now, if Sheridan gives her consent to the drug and it doesn't cure him, then... well, Antonio could be incapacitated for the rest of his life. And Antonio didn't want Sheridan to sacrifice her life to be his nurse.
Well, sometimes marriage requires a sacrifice. That's why the words in sickness and in health are in the vows. I know what Antonio said on the tape. Of course he loves you, and he didn't want to cause you any difficulty. But you are his wife. And it is your duty to take care of him, no matter what.
Mama, stop. Please. When you're making a terrible decision, even harder. Well, nobody wants Antonio to die. But I know that Antonio wouldn't want to be kept alive just because technology has found a way to keep his heart and mind going, even though the rest of him is quit. Imagine the hell of being trapped in a shell, paralyzed, desperate to communicate your thoughts, even though you can't. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I don't think you would either.
Where there is life, there's hope. And medicine is finding cures all the time. Look, your brother wanted to live badly enough to marry Sheridan. He had hopes and dreams for a future with the woman that he loves. And the least that we and Sheridan can do is to give those hopes and dreams a chance.
I would have thought you'd applaud me for tossing Ivy out of the mansion. Since when do you care what happens to her?
I don't know. I don't even know why I give a damn.
After everything you told me about the kind of mother Ivy never was to you, I think you'd hate her guts.
Hate her? No, I don't hate her. I just never loved her. I think you have to be loved as a child to learn how to give any back. You would think that all mothers come with a built-in maternal instinct. Well, Ivy must have been absent the day they handed those out. God only knows why I felt so protective over her when I saw you were serious about giving her the boot. I mean, if the situation were reversed, that lady'd give me a kick on the way out. See, now, if Ethan's situation were compromised in any way, well, now we've got a whole different story. See, that lady would stand in front of a moving train for my half-brother.
That's sad.
Don't even think about feeling sorry for me, Teresa, okay? It's not my bag, never has been, never will be.
No, I was just...
Actually, you know what? I owe the lady a debt of gratitude. I mean, if she had coddled me the way she did Ethan, I wouldn't have been forced to grow up so fast. She actually did me and my siblings a huge favor by always fussing over numero uno. It gave us an early taste of the real facts of life. You know what, though? I'll never forget when we were growing up, if Mother was all dressed up to go to one of her big parties, you know, and all I wanted to do was come in and give her a hug goodnight. Well, she pushed me away because she was afraid I might mess up her dress. But she'd let Ethan come in, you know, with chocolate sauce all over his face and hands. She'd pick him up and spin him around like he was her darling little prince, like he could do no wrong.
It's not like Ethan turned out to be some spoiled brat who thinks he deserves things without earning them.
You're a little prejudiced when it comes to him, don't you think?
Oh, Fox, I was just saying...
I don't want to argue about it. You know, I mean, I'm not the kind of guy who blames all of his problems on his early childhood. Besides, it makes perfect sense that my mother favored Ethan over the rest of us. I mean, he was her child by the man she loves, and we were her children by the loathsome Julian.
I don't love my son any less because he was fathered by Julian.
You're not my mother, Teresa. It is strange, though. I mean, I was raised by a woman who wouldn't let me kiss her goodnight because she was afraid I might smudge her lipstick, and here I am feeling bad that she got thrown out of her house. What do you suppose is up with that?
Will you stop trying to put words in my mouth? And for the last time, Ivy is not my girlfriend. And the only reason I didn't answer your question was so ridiculous. I wouldn't want anyone to spend the night out in the blizzard, Ivy or Kay.
Maybe they found her. Hello? It's Ethan. Don't keep the line tied up too long.
Hello, darling.
Mother, I just wanted to call and make sure you were okay.
Oh, yes, I'm fine. That's sweet, darling, although things are in a bit of a mess here.
I'd find her, and I
Well, what is going on over there?
Well, don't forget, your father is chief of police. There's always some emergency going on.
Well, it sounds like that he's arguing with Grace. Look, if this has anything to do with you sleeping over there, then I should come pick you up right now.
Don't be silly, dear. No, no, no. Everything's lovely between me and Grace. She's making me feel right at home.
Well, as long as you're someplace warm and out of the storm.
Oh, I couldn't be in better hands, darling. Why don't I call you in the morning? No one is getting me out of this house tonight. Not even you, Ethan. I'm going to stay as close to your father as I can get.
You're putting Sheridan in the worst possible position. She just wants to carry out Antonio's wishes.
Well, nobody would wish to die if they knew they had a chance to live, Lisa.
The odds are against him, Pilar.
I don't care if it's 1 in a million, Eve. We're talking about my son, your husband, and your brother. Sheridan, I know you're conflicted about your feelings for Luis, but that doesn't change the fact that you married Antonio. You made a commitment to stand by him until one of you died. Are you so unhappy about the vow that you took that you would hasten Antonio's death?
I can't believe that you would let your personal feelings for David get in the way of his offer to help you find Kay.
I'm not rejecting his help out of spite, Grace.
Oh, no? Then what is it?
Look, I don't have time to babysit him or John. This is a job for professionals. They have no experience.
For God's sake, Sam, they've both got eyes. I mean, they can look for her as well as you can. Or are you the only one that's allowed to go out and rescue damsels in distress?
I couldn't have scripted this better if I'd written it myself. Harmony's model couple is coming apart at the seams.
Yeah, only you can enjoy what they're going through.
Oh, please, Kay did us a huge favor by running away tonight. If I didn't hate that little brat so much, I'd give her a big hug the next time I see her.
If you see her, has it occurred to you that she may be in real trouble? That she may die out there in that storm?
Charity, you've got to tell my mom and dad about your premonition. What if I'm wrong, though? I don't want to scare them for no reason.
You can't take that chance, Charity. I mean, what if you're right? What if Kay is out there all bloody in the snow?
Somebody help me. Daddy.
You got that picture Chief Minich's daughter faxed in the station?
Right here. It's not the clearest copy, though.
I never heard Chief so upset. We gotta find her.
We better. That family's been through too damn much over the last couple of years.
There. Oh, my God. Just hope we're not too late.
You must tell Eve to give Antonio this drug. It's the only chance he has to survive.
I don't want him to die either.
And tell Eve to go ahead. Sheridan, in a matter of life and death, you always choose life, no matter what. I beg you, please. Do what you know in your heart is right.
Come on, stop it. Please. And don't guilt Sheridan into making a decision she isn't comfortable with.
Comfortable? We're talking about my son's life here. There's no question about what should be done.
Sheridan, I don't want to add to your pressure, but Antonio is my patient. And I am the executrix of his living will. And you have to understand that if you choose to give Antonio the drug, I need to know that you're committed to staying with him if he becomes incapacitated. Do you remember what Antonio said on the tape? That he only wants to live if he thinks you're going to be there with him. That even if he was in a coma, he'd be able to sense whether you were there or not.
I think I'd know even if I were unconscious that you were there by my side. Some selfish part of me wants you there.
Oh, dear God, what should I do?
God, you are tense.
Oh. Mother claimed things were copacetic at the Bennett house. I'm not sure she's telling the truth, though.
Well, why don't we just assume she is and get a good night's sleep? We can check up on her in the morning, and I will help you find someplace more permanent for her to stay.
Thank you.
For what?
For being supportive. With all the craziness that went on down there tonight, you were steady as a rock. You were quiet and calm.
Until we got up here and I went off on a little tirade about Teresa.
At least you didn't do it in public, and that was easier for me. And I appreciate it.
Well, you know that I would do anything for you.
You know what? Marrying you was the best thing I ever did.
If Ivy were my mother and neglected me as badly as she did you growing up, I'd be cheering as she rolled out the door.
But Ivy isn't your mother, she's mine. Your mother may not have had enough beans to fill a pot, but she lavished love and caring on all of her kids. I bet you didn't know how lucky you had it back then.
No. But I do now. Anyway, if you are still feeling bad for your mother, you can console yourself with the fact that I probably did Ivy a huge favor by tossing her out of the mansion.
How's that?
Well, Ivy and I have been living under the same roof long enough for me to know what she wants in life.
Even I know that one. Sam Bennett. You know, even Prince Ethan moves down to second place when Sam's in the room.
Exactly. There's nothing that Ivy wants more than to take Sam away from his wife and marry him herself. And you know how your mother is when she wants something.
Poor Grace Bennett.
If Ivy gave me a rough time, I hate to think of the hell she's going to raise in the Bennett household.
Listen, I know we don't see eye to eye on many things.
Yeah, try none.
All right, but we're going to have to put that aside tonight and work together to find your daughter, Kay.
Thank you for sharing, okay? But I don't have time to stand around here and argue.
Sam, do not walk away from his offer to help. We need everyone out there looking for her.
All right. But you keep an eye on your son, all right? The last thing we need is for him to get injured in a snowstorm.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll keep an eye on my son.
Sam. You'll call me as soon as you hear anything?
Of course I will.
Because I don't know what I would do if... Just call me, all right?
Dad! Charity has something to tell you.
It's about Kay.
Do you know where she is?
No, not for sure. I had one of my premonitions.
What did you see?
I saw Kay, and I saw her laying in the snow in a street, and she wasn't moving, and there was blood.
Oh, did you see where she was, or what street she was on?
No. I just kept flashing from her to hear all of us in the living room, and then the phone rang and you answered it, and whatever was said made us all really upset.
Chief Bennett. Yeah. Two of my men found the girl in the snow.
Oh, thank God. She all right?
She's dead.
Flip a coin, Sheridan. Doesn't matter what you decide, you're gonna lose Luis. And he'll be mine.
I'm begging you, Sheridan. As your husband's mother.
I'm here for you.
Okay, well, we have to make some decisions here. So, Sheridan, if you choose to give Antonio the drug, are you going to stay with him?
Tossing my mother out of the mansion's come at an incredible price, Teresa. You haven't even realized it yet.
You are his wife, and you cannot let him die because you want to be with his brother.
Our daughter is dead, and you were to blame, Sam. You were.